I beg to move that the Education, Careers Guidance in Schools Bill be now read a second time. Mr Speaker, when I was first pulled out of the Private Members Bill ballot, this presented a wonderful surprise and a rare opportunity. A chance to take forward real and meaningful change on a matter that is very close to my heart, helping young people to realise their potential. This bill affords a genuine opportunity to put words into action, to change the law to extend careers provision in schools. At present, the statutory duty to provide careers guidance falls on maintained schools, special schools and pupil referral units, but not academies. Although many academies do, indeed, have a contractual obligation to secure independent careers guidance through their own funding agreements. This landmark piece of legislation will seek to address this anomaly by placing the same requirement on all types of state-funded secondary schools, helping to create a much more level playing field. It's also paramount that the advice available to our young people should be consistent, of the highest quality and accessible across the board. The standard of this guidance should not be based on a postcode lottery, but around a set of clear principles with the best interests of the children at its heart. As a father of four, I am acutely aware of the many challenges that children face in school and how difficult it can be to decide on a suitable career path. Choosing a career can be an incredibly daunting experience. I'm 39 and I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. Without the proper guidance, it's very easy for young people to find themselves on the wrong path and facing in the wrong direction. Early, ongoing discussion involving the young person in a process of continual reorientation, making them aware that they are masters of their own destiny and allowing them to make informed choices at every stage of their journey. This, in turn, will allow for intervention and advice to prevent them going too far down a blind alley or a career cul-de-sac and discovering too late, or certainly not as early as they would ideally like, that they're not where they would like to be. That's why it's so important that we give our young people the best careers advice we can at the very earliest opportunity. The choices we make at school during this critical early phase help define who we are, what we go on to achieve, and ultimately who we become. This legislation is also particularly important and timely given the disruption caused by COVID-19. We know that many young people are understandably anxious and uncertain about their education and employment prospects in these unprecedented times. Their ideas about their next steps may well be changing as they respond and adapt to the considerable challenges ahead. We have a saying that the north wind made the Vikings. In other words, adversity can be beneficial if we use it as an opportunity to make us stronger. But even the Vikings wouldn't have got far on their nautical adventures without suitable navigation tools or the right skills. And that's why it's so important that young people receive the right advice at the right time to make the right choices for them. In my constituency of Workington, there are pockets of deprivation and unemployment. And as someone who grew up in the heart of northern working class communities, I'm aware of the stark disadvantages faced by so many young people. They have so much to contribute, but often they're written off far too soon. Recognising the existence of a problem is the first step in solving it, and we must close this attainment gap and ensure that no child is left behind. If we're serious about levelling up, giving all children access to careers advice is one of the most important weapons in our arsenal. Young people need support to understand their options and to act on them. Careers guidance helps them make sense of the labour market and navigate successfully into education, training or employment. Providing this enhanced careers education and guidance makes economic sense too, because it will contribute to high skills, high productivity recovery. This will support all young people in developing the skills and attributes that they need to succeed in the workplace, and in some cases will nurture the community leaders of the future. So this bill extends careers advice down from the current year 8 down to year 7 to ensure that our children are given the information that they need to make the best possible choices. And as the point my honourable friend just made, it will bring academies in line with local authority controlled schools. It will help ensure that everybody has the same opportunity regardless of their postcode. But it will also give Ofsted the tools that they need to ensure our children are benefiting from first-rate careers advice throughout their school career and across the country. This bill will put into statute the government's commitments in the Skills for Jobs White Paper for the UK's post-pandemic recovery. It will build on the important work that is already being done nationally under this government to develop a coherent and well-established careers system. We also have the National Careers Service providing free careers information, advice and guidance to both young people and adults through a website and telephone helpline. Over 3,300 business professionals are working as enterprise advisors from local businesses with schools and colleges to strengthen employer links. The result is 3.3 million young people now having regular encounters with employers, up 70% in 2 years. I'm grateful to the Careers Enterprise Company for their engagement with me on this issue, and particularly for their recognition that there is much more to do. Before I go into further detail about how the bill itself fits into all of this, I would like to take some time to commend the excellent work that has already been accomplished in my own constituency in the face of often large socio-economic challenges. Cumbria Careers Hub was launched in January 2019 to deliver the government's career strategy for Cumbria after the local enterprise partnership skills investment plan identified a significant challenge regarding developing skills in the county. I'm pleased to report that the hub in Cumbria currently includes 37 schools and 4 colleges with the ambition to achieve full coverage across 52 institutions in the next academic year. The Cumbria Careers Hub is exceeding the national performance on careers education across 3/4 of the Gatsby benchmarks, most notably regarding employer encounters and experiences of the workplace, where it also exceeds the national Careers Hub average. And this process is accelerating. 100% of schools in the hub are matched with an enterprise advisor from a pool of senior business volunteers. And this process is being replicated successfully across the country. 45% of secondary schools and colleges are now in careers hubs. We're seeing rapid improvements in hubs in disadvantaged areas among the best performers. Careers leaders' roles have been developed in schools and colleges and are becoming a recognised profession. 1,950 careers leaders will receive a fully funded training bursary by October 2021 and 2,750 will benefit from a free online careers leader training course. The link between careers and career pathways is essential for the development and attraction of talent to Cumbria owing to the area's declining working age population. It is therefore absolutely critical that we nurture homegrown talent, giving our young people the skills and confidence that they need to make the most of opportunities in a global Britain. This will help close the skills gap in areas like Cumbria and attract investment. It's not simply enough to nurture talent, we must also retain it. And this new bill will help to ensure that young people are aware of the opportunities that lie on their own doorstep, as well as those that exist further afield. Cumbria is lucky enough to have an award-winning enterprise advisor, Roger Wilson, Enterprise Advisor of the Year 2018, who works closely with the Careers and Enterprise Company to provide support to the Enterprise Advice Network. I'm delighted that Cumbria Careers Hub also celebrated 2 Careers Champion winners this year, Beacon Hill for innovation and its now former head teacher Judith Schaefer for leading the way. I'll also take the opportunity to mention Step Up Cumbria, which was launched to support Year 11s to make the transition into further education in response to the challenges of COVID-19. Step Up Cumbria was relaunched with a new website in April 2021, an online platform developed primarily for Year 11 school leavers to find information on further education opportunities in Cumbria. The programme has now been updated in recognition that the COVID-19 pandemic has been a particularly challenging time for students, and especially for those leaving school this summer looking to begin the next chapter of their education and career journey. The programme itself was established by Cumbria LEP's People, Employment and Skills Strategy Group and sponsored by Cumbria Careers Hub, with learning resources provided by Lakes College in my own constituency, Carlisle College, Furness College and Kendal College. But it may be helpful at this juncture if I set out a bit more in detail about what the bill does and why it's so important. Maintained schools, special schools and pupil referral units now have a statutory duty to secure independent careers guidance for Year 8 to Year 13 pupils. And for pupils of compulsory school age, this must include information on 16 to 18 educational training options, including apprenticeships. This is a good starting point, but it needs to go further. Therefore, this bill will extend the duty to all pupils in all state-funded secondary education. It will establish consistency across education settings by extending the statutory duty to academy schools and alternative provision academies. Moreover, all academy schools and alternative provision academies will also be required to have regard to the statutory guidance that underpins this legal obligation. This simplifies the current system whereby careers duties are imposed on secondary schools through a combination of statutory provisions and contractual arrangements, while some of the older academies are not under any careers requirement whatsoever. The bill will extend the statutory careers duty to all academy schools and alternative provision academies, placing the same requirements and standards on all types of state-funded secondary school. These legislative changes will put all pupils in all secondary schools on the same footing. Having spoken with a broad cross-section of education leaders and careers advisors, as well as parents and other stakeholders, I feel like the importance of extending the careers duty to all secondary pupils cannot be overstated. We need to start setting out to children as early as possible the options that will be available to them, not just sixth form and university, but also in terms of further education, apprenticeships, T-levels and other technical education qualifications. The earlier our young people start to consider these options and receive the appropriate guidance, the greater their chance of making the best possible choice. University technical colleges form an incredibly important part of our offer, but that could mean changing schools at age 14. We must do more to open up this option to all of our young people, and I pay tribute to colleagues in this House and in the other place, such as the Right Honourable the Lord Baker of Dorking, who works tirelessly in this field. While it's important that young people are aware of their options, the last thing we want is for them to get to year 9 and feel like their options are being imposed upon them. Young people often tell us that one of the biggest barriers is not knowing what careers exist. Engaging with employers from an early age can inspire young people. It can also help them relate the career opportunities, available circumstances, abilities and interests. The legislation recognises and makes use of the work already undertaken as part of the National Careers System. But more importantly, it continues to raise young people's aspirations through regular and meaningful engagement with employers and their workplaces. This legislation will build on work to promote access to all pathways from education, through encounters with education and training providers and access to high-quality careers and labour market information. I look forward to seeing this legislation pass through this House, but I'm even more interested still to see how it will help future generations on their own journey towards fulfilling their unique potential.